Our last and final game, last opportunity for teams to skyrocket the leaderboards and earn the points that they need to get a top 9 spot and a spot at the season or split 1 playoffs. Let's go ahead and kick it over to Gaskin and Onset to call the action for game number 6.
Thank you very much, John. Let's get into this then. Let's close things out for match day number 2 here in the Emea Pro League, and let's see who is going to be contesting at the top of the leaderboards when it's all said and done. We know, Dan, coming into this game, that Ascend have got first place locked down unless something ridiculous happens, which, let's be real, probably isn't going to happen at this point. No one's going to kill absolutely everyone in the lobby. But for the teams who are in the chasing pack, everything is still on the line here. And we know how, with the points, how they work and the separation between 2nd and 10th place, it really can be a big jump up you can make with one good game here to close things out.
Yeah, I'm happy to kind of give Ascend first here unless they go out very early. And then there's still a slim chance that Aurora could do some damage. Nightmare Esports go out right to the start of the game. We missed it whilst we were dropping. Fire Beavers will take them out and they will win the engagement over towards Fragment. So that's a great start for Fire Beavers to get some points on board. They're 9th position at the moment and they'll want to climb up into that top 5 for sure.
I think the term is blink and you'll miss it, because that's pretty much what you would have done there. As we join the game and Fire Beavers already put their first 3 KP on the board and assert their dominance over Fragment East here. Now they're going to have to move across towards the west side. Now, this was not as happy for them last time. As we see, they got caught about 3 or 4 different times by 3 or 4 different teams. Somehow managed to get out of it and play the game as a duo, but it didn't end up being a great game for them due to the fact that they had to move in so late. But for Fire Beavers, certainly getting those KP on the board is a much healthier start for them here in our final game.
And it's about now just looting up, taking advantage of having the freedom. When you win a drop fight, you are going to have much more freedom to be able to loot and make sure you can get as much kind of armor and ammo to work with. They've also got the beacon scan, where they know they're going to now have to move even further west, which might not be the best of signs for them, but a team that it is a good sign for is Ascend. This is going to be moving towards Ascend territory, and we were saying how, you know, if Ascend don't fall early, then it's likely they're going to be winning the game. So we'll keep an eye on them as the game goes on and whether they're able to kind of get into the top 10 at the very minimum, and they should be winning this entire day. Elsewhere though, Bitfix, who were able to win the previous game with their off-meta choice of Rampart, still aren't even in the top 10 on set, which is kind of crazy. Like, after winning a game, still not been able to break through. They need some more consistency going into match number 6 here. Yeah,
they certainly do indeed. Bitfix Gaming showing that Rampart has a part to play in the ALGS as well, and I'm sure that even though, unfortunately, you know, G-Dolphin's not with us in this week with the team changes that happened, he's going to be happy to see Rampart certainly performing in that end game and showing exactly what she can do as a legend and a pick with those abilities in the end game. Haven't seen the Sheila on display yet, though. Now, let me tell you, I felt it a couple of times in ranked recently. I've not enjoyed it, Dan. I've not, on the receiving end of it, I've not enjoyed it too much.
I don't think I've ever really enjoyed being on the receiving end of a massive turret. Just drilling bullets.
It's true, actually.
Like, it's never been fun. I don't think at any point I've gone, I'm so glad he's put a turret right in my face. It's just, it's so difficult when a Sheila turret comes out and you get kind of caught blindsided by it, because the amount of damage that thing does is insane. Elsewhere, GG, 13th position at the moment. The real question for me is, are we going to see them hit their stride a little bit in match number 6? Because there's so much potential in this lineup.
Yeah, there's potential, but at the moment, it's looking a little bit like a rocky situation for them. Good damage being done here by Artico, and Leogri trying to finish up on it, but you can already see that they're taking a little bit of damage from both sides. But this Dorito building is a very strong one to hold for where this zone may well be going. You've got that huge mountain behind you, which is going to stop all of those teams. You don't have to worry about that back coming from the southern side of World's Edge, and then you can just focus in front of you with the high ground advantage. You can command so much space here, and for Gaming Gladiators, I think they need to have a strong game here just to kind of prove to themselves, I think, after a very, very poor performance in week 1 and a very, very shaky performance here in week 2, that this is still the lineup that can get the job done.
Yeah, because you look at the names, right, and you look at what Hardeki's done in the past, and actually this entire lineup, what it's done in the past, and how amazing they've been, and some of the performances they've put out throughout the ALGS. They should be a team contesting winning each day, if I'm completely honest. So the fact they haven't been up there has been a surprise. I was expecting maybe a little bit more out of them, and I'm sure they would have been as well. The only way to rectify that is having a pop-off game now, making sure you send yourself as far up that leaderboard as you can. Then going into match week 3, you're going to be feeling maybe a little bit more comfortable about your positioning and about how you've been playing.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of a poke battle going down over at Survey at the moment. No one really being able to win it. However, Phoenix Legacy are going to lose one. They're also going to lose two. It's all down to the one-man army IMP. Can you get it done? It's not looking like this is going to be a nice situation for him to find himself in because he's got 3 different guns trained onto him. Joke, though, taken down pretty weak, but we'll have plenty of time to pop that battery. It's just a case of not if but when, as Phoenix Legacy will be eliminated here at the hands of V2. We're down to 18 squads.
I've been very much impressed with V2's fighting capability throughout this day. A couple of times where they've had their backs against the wall, they've still won engagements. When they've been the aggressors, they've been pushing and taking the right angles, really communicating well between the team with the positions they've been taking as well. It seems like if they can start to get, a few more end circles and start to get their positioning even better when it comes to end game, this V2 side could be a real threat for kind of competing with the very best in the league now here in the ALGS.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've shown in their team fights that they have great coordination. They have great cohesion, and of course they hit the shots when they need to, which is always something that you're looking for in a lineup. That natural chemistry, the bait and the switching, whatever it might be to make the team fighting successful, is certainly on display here. And V2, having won that fight and having got those KP on the board, in absolutely no rush to head towards zone now. Just going to craft some med kits, craft some heals, and make sure that they're healthy to move in nice and late. Speaking of moving in, it will be Scars who take residence at the moment in the center of the map, and they'll pick up a couple of kills alongside it. You can see that Taishin is contributing to those kills as the knock does come in. All this fighting going down in and around Harvester for now, and being bang in the center zone isn't too bad of a place for them to be. However, we do see where that zone is going to be shifting. We are moving north, and that's quite a significant pull.
It could be a similar circle to what we saw in Game 4 as well, like heading over towards Countdown area. It could be prime time for the likes of Ascend, the likes of KCP, but it looks like people are thinking this is going to be more likely landslide, and that's why we're seeing a lot of people in these train carts getting ready. Pioneers are having to kind of run away from a few teams at the moment. They are stuck between a rock and a hard place. So much damage coming from various directions.
Not in a good spot here. Naski and Serdell
It's Ascend.
have lost Strafey, who was, of course, the solo hero a little bit earlier on World's Edge in our game number 4, managing to rat out to a second place finish to get them a huge amount of points in comparison to where they could have been. And like you mentioned, Ascend sneaking around as well, looking to put some damage down. You've got BFG up on that high ground. Not looking to be a big friendly giant, though. Looking to just cause more problems than anyone. But there is the Reds. So I think that KCP actually managed to just get that beacon, that res beacon hit. The mobile beacon was good enough to get Strafey back into the game. The question is, can he pick up his loot and can they cause problems? As now we're going to see Taskmaster and Fire Beavers doing exactly that. On top of this beacon building, now the other side of the mountainous area, just outside of West Fragment. They lose one, though. Even though the damage was done, his teammates weren't there to capitalize.
So much happening all around the map as well. Joke will get the finish onto Taskmaster. V2 once more showing how good they are in these 3v3 engagements. Fire Beavers get eliminated. 17 squads. Strafey's just gone down. KCP really struggling in the areas that they've been finding themselves so far. And V2 now will win this building, this beacon building. And they can just kind of be a little bit patient, but they've noticed another team kind of straggling over towards the zone. And I tell you what, with how V2 have been playing and the confidence I've been seeing, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and get aggressive once more.
I was about to say, they've noticed one team sneaking around. The team now knows that V2 are there as well, because that R301 just tracked and did not miss as the shields got shattered. And V2 now have the opportunity to move up and command this choke, which is such a strong one to hold, especially towards that end game. You see those teams who are going to be rotating out of that tunnel coming in from Skyhook. You've got all of the open land in front of you as well. And Scars also looking to make that move a little bit later towards the zone. They're going to be pretty safe now. They may be thinking about making a little bit of progress up towards staging here, and now then we're going to be looking to take the fight because they've already got that first knock. They've got the caustic barrels down though in front of them, which is going to cause some problems. Also, Taishin going down. He falls to both players peeking. The ultimate goes in as well, and now all of a sudden Scars looking at a bit of a shambles, and Jerovic is going to go down as well by the looks of things.
Yeah, this is Aurora they're pushing, and we've seen how good Aurora have been, and that caustic on the defensive side is going to help them out so much. And also having the portal to escape was massive, as Aurora will get back up to a full 3. They hold off Scars, and they might get some KP, will get some KP for it. So Aurora, who were in second place coming into this game, are still proving to be an absolute threat in this lobby, as that's going to be so frustrating for Scars.
Yeah, Scars just looking to force the issue a little bit too much there. They did get a little bit of damage. They got it down, but just didn't really work together well enough as a unit to isolate those last two players. Just gave the opportunity for two players to poke at the same time and just absolutely delete Taishin initially. Now we're going to see the second part of this battle going down. It looks like Scars aren't happy with what happened a few minutes ago. And even though it looks like Aurora back to a full 3 and back to full health after these cells and shields batteries will be popped, Scars aren't done with this yet.
I think, unfortunately for Scars, they feel like they have to try and push up on this. Eventually, it looks like they're going to give up. They kept pressing, they kept pushing. Maybe we're hoping that Aurora hadn't got that third player back up, but as soon as they've received that information, they are going to try and go over the top of them. And now suddenly Aurora are behind Scars, and it's whether Scars still try and go back for this one and try and take the fight once more.
And Scars have gone all the way back into Harvester now, so they're deep into zone. They're not going to be worried too much about that fight. They're going to say to Aurora, okay, round 1 goes to you, but maybe towards the end game we can have something to say about it. You can see Aurora also maybe just aware that Scars might be late rotating on them here, and I think they've actually made the decision that they want to try and press this. Maybe they're going to actually change where they want to rotate. They're going to take a fight here towards the Vault Tunnel, which leads onto Landslide. If they can take control of this area, then it would be a very strong position for them to move forward from. There's only one team who's inside of the next circle, though. I will say that. And that, of course, is going to be KCP. The Pioneers, once again, managing to predict where that zone is going to be going and setting themselves slap bang in the center of it. Delwyn Strafey back into the game as well. So, not for the first time. We saw Strafey go down. We saw him re-knocked as well as he got rezzed. But he's been brought back to his feet once more.
And this is the same position we saw the Pioneers try and play in what was a very similar circle in match number 4. However, in that circle, it pulled over towards Countdown. KCP now have predicted it correctly. This is again going back to those priority positions I was talking about. Going for those areas where you think the circle could be pulling and also giving yourself the best chance if it pulls elsewhere. And now, because of it, Pioneers seem to have one of the best positions in the map. Ascend also have moved over east side as well. Like, they have predicted the circle was going to go this way. Their circle manipulation or whatever, their predictions has been incredible this tournament. So I'm not surprised that they also find themselves in one of the better spots.
3 Muppets versus Aurora. Big damage being done. That entry damage could be massive. You can see Maggie using that Q as well. The drill going to be going in to try and force those players out from cover. Aurora need to force this fight. They know they've only got 28 seconds before that zone closes behind them. And with zone 4, the damage is going to be so detrimental to them having any chance of winning this fight in front of them that they have to go, and they have to go now. They're going to expel so many resources. The Caustic Ultimate goes in as well. The Nox Gas is going to help out get that first knock. It looks like they have the advantage in this fight.
Our second place team looking to try and get as much damage as possible to try and pick up more KP and maybe do the unthinkable of catching Ascend, but with 17 squads still left and Ascend still being one of them, it becomes less likely the further we get into this game. But Aurora still showing their dominance and still showing why they are a real threat in these lobbies. So impressed. Every single game we've gone through, there's been something a little bit different from them. They've been changing their composition from map to map as well, and it seems like they know exactly how they want to approach both maps.
Well, this is 3 Muppets who were trying to hold down that Vault Tunnel. For now, unfortunately, they're just holding on for dear life. 3 Muppets will be eliminated, and it was all down to that aggressive push coming in from Aurora. The Caustic Nox Gas was pretty much the difference maker there. Just being able to toss it into that setup that was in front of them just caused so much damage, caused so much kind of panic for them to try and deal with. They took that ground, they aggressively pushed into it and managed to get that knock and force the team out. Now they will be safe. Totem Esports trying to get themselves into a position to be safe as well. Just kind of in a nice fortified corner here. They've got a lot of cover to play with here, Totem.
My question would be, where do Aurora go from here, by the way? Because not only have they got Totem to their left, they've got SAF in front of them. And it is not going to be an easy rotation whatsoever. But they've done it once and they've done it twice already in this tournament, where they've been able to get into circles that arguably they shouldn't. I'm sure they'll be trying to brute force their way once more with the composition that they have. And if they can get into the final circle with the Caustic on board, then they're going to make it a living hell for everyone else who is in that lobby. So Dell gets yet another kill onto Bambino. That was one of the SAF players that I was talking about that was just north of Aurora. So that could be the chance for them to push.
I love this from KCP as well. If you get the opportunity to pop over to them, it looks like they're just trying to have a look at all of this fighting that's going down to the southern side of where this zone is pulling. They're trying to sniff and see if they can get some KP. Dell is that man to watch. He's kind of on the hunt, seeing if damage gets done, any fights break out, if there's any downs that they can steal away and really add. And you can see in the kill feed there, he picks up one onto Bambino. So Del is being a problem for the lobby here. Strafey and Natsuki are holding things down, but for Applied Totem, they're just trying to force their way into zone.
And I think you've got to try and brute force it at this point. You can't really dilly-dally any longer with only 30 seconds left. You have to move soon, and it seems like that call will come very shortly. And they're going to be trying to worm their way through, but there's so many teams in areas now where they have vantage points, like BFG, for example. They can look down from above, and they can be a real nuisance. Look where that circle is going to be going. KCP in one of the best positions right now. GG still alive. Hardeki is going to be in that final circle. And I seem to remember a very famous circle quite similar to this, where Hardeki was able to win a 1 versus X in what was one of the most crazy finishes I've seen to any sort of game.
Well, it looks like GG have got multiple players alive as well to help Hardeki on his way to maybe salvaging some sort of performance as far as points is concerned for GG in our second match day of the Emea Pro League. For now, though, for esports, in a very similar position to what we saw them in last time we saw the zone, somewhat similar to what we find it at now. The only problem for them is they've got all these teams who are going to leave Countdown, and they're going to have to deal with them as they try and move forward themselves. Looks like the time to move is now. The ping has come in. SAF are out. Forge are out as well. And now we're down to just 12 squads, and Foot have seen the opportunity now to move in. They believe that their back is clear, and they will be correct in thinking that they have the whole lobby in front of them, and Taylor is going to shred. GG are eliminated.
Bitfix also going out. Aurora still alive. Ascend now, though, have jumped on top of them, so Aurora have lost 2, and Aurora go down. Remember, they were in second place. Ascend will almost solidify their first place with that victory in a team fight there, but Foot Esports from the distance, doing so much damage, being a right nuisance to the teams, trying to desperately stay alive as Ember lose 2.
Well, let's jump into the listening now with Foot Esports because they are decimating the lobby in front of them.
Go on this, clear this.
What's Dildo? Careful, Dildo!
Yeah, just play this rock. Play the rock,
He's working here. Box on, box on.
I'm popping accelerants.
We need to shock. Heal up, heal.
I need to go. Shoot that. Damn it. I'm dead. Fuck.
Shield me, Dildo. Shield Dildo.
Nice try. I guess I shouldn't have chased the rat.
Not the win they maybe were looking for in that situation. Foot Esports points on the board, but the placement lot there alongside it.
We also saw Pioneers go down and all that scuffle elsewhere, so despite the priority position they had found, I think unfortunately because their armors weren't necessarily great, their loot wasn't that great, they couldn't do enough to stay alive as we have 4 squads now remaining. Turkish Stars, one of them, still trying to fight for their chance to be in the top 5, but we have to note, Ascend still alive, still in one of the better positions. You've also got Forge, you've also got Totem, who are doing some real damage at the moment in this lobby.
Totem trying to hold out Ascend at the moment. Ascend now make their push. Big damage coming in. There's an armor swap there for Sharp as well. So even though Ascend have made the push and done the damage, they're not aware that there's armor swaps, and it's going to be Totem who look like they're coming out on top. Sharp will survive, so will Jazaz, but Jazaz now is last alive. Will have to do something magical. He can't get it done, and Reply Totem will fall as V2, your team, who you were backing after their early fight performance here, Dan, are moving in to try and win this game.
They were down in 10th at the start of this game, and now they're up into the top 5 with the kills that they've got. They are absolutely shredding right now, and surely it's just a matter of moments to try and finish off this game. 1-11. Nazidian's going to be doing what he can, and it's going to be a push that just works out perfectly.
Oh, he's going to move in as well. You have to expect him to get the final kill. This man is decimating the lobby. He picks up the final shots. Actually, his teammate does, but it's V2 overall who managed to win our final game of the day. And I tell you what, that end game, there were so many kills in front of them, and not only did they win the game down, they took advantage of the kills too.